Good day, good day, good day. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week so far. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joel Duggan, and first thing I'm going to do is thank Cosmic Dancer for gifting that 6-month epic sub to Kel Birdie, who is now entering month 3. Very, very cool. The Water Keystone Badge. Glad you are all having a good day. Pouring some coffee here. We have a few things left on the to-do list in the west section of town, one of which is working on the road textures, which is really straightforward. So that's probably what we're going to do. Certainly at least in and around the areas by the square that we finished yesterday. I think that probably makes the most sense. The book should be in here. So at the end of the stream yesterday, we finished up this square, which looks pretty cool if you ask me. I really like the pattern that we have here. And the only thing missing is now, of course, texture going up the roads leading away from it, as well as this little alley space going this way. This we're going to leave because I don't know what's happening with this. There's no point in texturing this if it's going to change, because we have to finish the keep wall here. So I won't do anything behind the Dockmaster's house, but we'll be able to texture this part down here as well, going down to the docks. And I don't think I'm going to push it too much. I feel like this could probably we could probably continue this texture up to here, really. I think between these two towers creates a nice border, and we could probably create a bit more interesting texture going down this way. So that's probably where we're going to start. And it's really straightforward because it's the normal stone textures that we normally use. And the other thing that's on the list is the West Tiger Road, main west and alleyways, and then yeah. So the other part is we're looking at doing some texturing here and here, but then the other part is all the texture up through here needs to be done too. It's very plain. So we'll take a look at that. I don't know if we're going to spend the whole stream doing it because it's a long task, and it might be fun to kind of branch out and do a few different things as we need to. I don't think we need gravel. Need that. And there's no black stone needed. That really should be it. I'll bring a bed. Oh, I have one. Okay, cool. Oh, look how cool the town square looks like on the map. Oh, nice. Yeah, that does look really nice. I like how you definitely feel like this is an important spot, this is an important spot, and this doesn't feel as fancy, but it still feels like a key element, especially with the water in the middle there. I think that works out quite well. I like the look of this building here too on the map. It's kind of a cool look. A lot of this stuff ends up being kind of nondescript. This looks kind of special. The mansion looks special. The blacksmith looks special. I feel like the apothecary and the butcher shop over here look good too. There's an awful lot of brown in some areas, and so I like how this kind of has some specialness to it. If anything, I may have concentrated the colored roofs a little bit too close together. Like I feel like we could have branched out a little bit in some of the other spaces. So this is all finished, so we can probably just set up here. think we're going to need polished, but we'll keep it anyway. I would say we're going to need more cobblestone stairs and more smooth stairs. Don't cover up your hard work. I don't think I did. I think I've managed to hit just the edge. But I want to kind of continue the, like, just this general kind of wear pattern and push it along here. So we'll probably add in, this looks like it could use a little andesite maybe. Maybe we'll replace this with andesite. And I think maybe I'll get rid of these. Try to use a lot of cracked stone. I feel like it usually works out. I think I might remove this. It looks kind of weird on its own. I'd say that's pretty good. And we'll stop here. This looks like it's already been done. But like I said, I'm not a fan of these. Does Shulker Island have a new name? Shulker Small, Shulker Town because it's only small. That's funny. All right, how are we doing for lighting? Right, so we'll have to light things up back here once we do the changes. We've got some problems back here that we'll have to address. And all of this is, of course, good because of the lights there. I don't remember that being an issue, or maybe I just didn't care. I think it was, I hung a light here and that fixed that problem. It may also not matter at night, because at night this comes on, and so this might be a non-issue in the evening. So we got two options. We can do this like cracked stone, and andesite coming down here as best we can, or we can take this pattern and push it up. And I'm sort of inclined to do that because I think that, you know, even just from here, I think having it go from the overpass, like all the way down, maybe we can just start it on this level. And I would say the easiest thing to do is going to be to completely change it to polished. These are all full blocks. We'll just do one level at a time. Because I like the angle, I think. The angle is not too bad. We might change a few things here and there. Bitterflies, hello, good to see you. Hope things are well. Uh-oh, dog. We need to change this. If I can do this without a problem. Nope, can't. Move away from the thing. Why are you running away? I like you down the dock. Go down here. It's like he's waiting for a snack to drop off the crane or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think having like a little border here works. And then, of course, we'll just come through with the andesite and polished andesite. And it doesn't look like there's any stone. It's just andesite and polished andesite. So that's pretty straightforward. I wish I had a dog to take on a walk in real life. That would be awesome. Now I gotta be careful not to put them like right next to those. So maybe we'll keep this one sort of central. Same thing with the andesite. We don't want it too close to the wall here, so we'll do maybe like a couple here. So that's a little similar, so maybe we'll move this one to here. Just so that they don't line up so perfectly. Maybe here. So when I do this kind of stuff, I'm just kind of looking at kind of evenly distributing, because this isn't necessarily like a wear pattern. It's not meant to look like people have worn the stone pattern down by walking on it. It's meant to be more like an established pattern by design. Like it was built to look this way, you know? I'm also trying to figure out ways to make it look like you can see the edges of things. So sometimes by putting in a stone like that, you can see the edge of things better. Maybe we'll switch these instead. That goes there. This goes back there. So I'm just looking at each section and trying to make sure that I'm not seeing too much of the same thing. I feel like maybe we could put something over here. Just try not to have like 4 or 5 blocks in a row if I can at all help it. And everything here looks like it's on an angle. So I'm going to be careful here. Nothing seems to be like touching the long side. I feel like that looks okay. This just feels like a lot in the same area, but I can't think of a way to change it. And I think that looks more complete on the map too. Not that that's a huge deciding factor, but sort of. Now, unfortunately back here we don't have stairs in Smoothstone. I'm tempted just to leave these all the same. I guess we do have polish, don't we? Actually, let's go for that one instead. And then we'll just let it transition back into this. And again, we'll do that later because I don't know what's happening with this wall. Radcat, hello, welcome in. Love the flecks of andesite, polished andesite mixed with smoothstone. Thanks. Yeah, I think what's fun about it is that it almost creates like a seamless border. Like it makes the andesite especially makes it look like a larger piece because it blends with the border. These stand out. You can do the same thing with stone, like regular stone and oops. If I put stone in the middle here, the borders completely blend away, right? So it looks like a different kind of pattern. It's more effective at a larger scale, but you can do some really cool stuff with it. It's a fun way to make things look off-grid. Alla loves Cheez-Its, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. So I think that finishes that off. I'm pretty sure we've done the texture along here. And then we've transitioned into this. This is all done. Now we can just pop around here and do a little bit of texture work along the side here. Gotta be careful because all of these edge pieces can be seen through here, so I don't want to change them too much. If anything, I'll just make one of them a cracked brick. Probably that one right there. Yeah. Here would be a fun spot to actually put in a little bit of moss. Coming over the stairs would be cool. Planning on using any of the new blocks, not in the road texture, but I use new blocks all the time in other things. Nothing like texturing a road to fill your inventory with all kinds of stuff. I think that's okay. So maybe we can get away with a little bit right there. Yeah, that works. So with these, I absolutely am trying to make it look like kind of a wear pattern where people would walk, where this place would be cracked. But once I get to about here, I want to lay off a bit just because I don't know what's happening with these walls, so there's no point in pushing it too far back this way. This might look too worn down, but we'll try it. No, I think I like it. I think that's good. Oh, too close. Cool. So that little alley is done. This is done. That's done. All up here is done. So that's the big road. I'm gonna leave that to last. Oh, I see what you were getting at, Big Fish. Yeah, there's a couple of things in the book where we have like 120 to-do lists where like after hanging signs come out, we might revisit and put a couple of hanging signs in some places. There's a couple of things like that we might do. saw this retexture of cherry trapdoors and they had hearts in them. That's cute. I can see why they didn't do it, but that's kind of a neat idea for anybody that wants to take that on, right? I don't think I want to get into too much here, but I guess we can probably do some mossy bits along here too. I'm just thinking like this area would be very wet, right? Because there'd be lots of spray from the waterfall, stuff like that around. I think maybe we'll make this andesite. Yeah, that works. That doesn't really make sense. Let's make this one be that. I wish we had crack slabs so many times. Maybe I'll put like a mossy cobble one there. I kind of feel like we could put mossy brick there. Whoops. Now I don't think I want to smooth this out. We could try maybe like a mossy cobble wall there to see if that might help. Inventory is already full. You always manage to get a balance, right, when it comes to adding in mossy blocks where they could make sense. I go overboard and it's too much. I guess it depends too, like the idea, I think, in a lot of ways with roads is to pick your road texture. In our case, it's stone bricks, right? And that is your 70%. Like everything has to try to stay about 70% stone bricks. But you can, of course, you could make your main texture 70% mossy stone bricks. Like, why not? It would really work if it was a forest. And I think too, like you have to make it make sense, you know, like if it's a super mossy green area, then it would make sense. I guess don't really need many of these. I'm just wondering if the wall here might help smooth out this corner. Yeah, I think it does. I don't know if it has to be mossy. Maybe we can get away with something non-mossy. Actually, I think I like that. A little repetitive. I'll try it with the regular stone brick wall. You tried with a lot of Mossy? I guess you just have to find the right combo, right? Yeah, I think I like that better. Or maybe put this on the end. And then we put the green one here. Sure. It's hard with this area of town because I really don't want it to look too run down. It's supposed to be kind of fancy, so they'd have the money to repair the roads, you know? Oh, I might want to change that. Be something nicer underneath the door. What we've got in other places underneath the doors. This might be wood on this side. Yeah, it's wood on that side. And then stone there. Yeah, okay. Let's go with I think we'll go with just regular stone. Oh, that is visible down here. Right. That's why that was like that. Alright, never mind. We'll leave it the way that it is. Usually I find if there's something like that that grabs me when I'm walking around, there's a reason for it elsewhere. Take it easy. Ella loves Cheez-Its. Have a good day. Trust past Joel. Trust past Joel can be a little forgetful sometimes too, though. I find this little like 1, 2, and then 3 off in the corner. It's a very helpful combo. And then stuff like this, I think the stone in front of the person's door would probably get worn smooth, you know, from all the coming and going. People scuffing their feet before they come in. Alleyways are nice to do because they come together so quickly. for whatever reason, it's very difficult to work in stairs as a different texture when you only have a few of them. You've got a big wall of stairs, it's a lot easier. Sometimes I try not to use a wall texture right next to the wall, so it doesn't look too off. I didn't bring cobble mossy stairs, but I think, yeah, I think that probably looks better. Yeah. So when I come into a section like this, the thought process is usually, you know, people coming up here would either be going to the right or they would be going left. And if they're going left, then there'd be a lot of wear and tear, kind of like in this section. And then probably not a lot. Like nobody is going to be coming in here and going right because they're just looping around and coming back out here again. So it's mostly going to be here. Archeo Plays is continuing the gift sub they got from Hunter555. Thanks so much, Archeo Plays. That's weird that that showed up in Twitch, but it didn't show up on my mini feed for Streamlabs. But thank you so much. Is it easier to work in smaller spaces? Oh crap, it scrolled out of my view. Where did that go? Is it easy to work on smaller spaces like those alleyways in terms of texture? Do you prefer bigger areas? Oh no, it's definitely easier to do smaller spaces. The only time it gets tricky in smaller spaces is when the walls have the same texture you're using as the ground, because then you got to make sure that you, as people are walking around in different areas, everything in view, you know, like that's why I think that this area looks good without a lot of regular andesite in the ground, because there's a lot of andesite in there. And there's a lot of andesite in the heap, so makes sense that way. Thanks for the shout out for Archeo Plays. For folks that don't know, Archeo Plays was a guest on the Spongechunks podcast a couple months ago now. Real life poke in the arm archaeologist. That feels about right. And don't end up using a lot of cobblestone in roads. I find that if you put cobblestone down, it looks very, very bright. It really adds to the idea of it being super worn down. I don't tend to do that. Nope, that's no good. Ah, we've got this path flash. I think I want to actually stop that here. Just to give me a couple more options. Where did that go? There it is. I'm kind of getting into the street here a bit. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. So we'll have to figure out, we'll do the square first before we do this section of the road. So I think that looks pretty good. I do find that andesite a little distracting. Maybe because it's right in the middle. A little bit better. And this wraps around to here. So there's stone stairs there. We might be able to get away with switching this to smooth stairs. It always looks funny from the other side. Oh, that doesn't look good either. Maybe we'll put this there. Cool. All right, that's done. Working on a video about it for a while now. Health stuff keeps getting in the way. What were you working on? Oh, for archaeology in Minecraft? That's cool. All right, again, I'm going to leave this until we finish the road. That brings us back down here. And we'll pull this texture out this way. You know what? That just doesn't look good. I think we'll just leave these all the way that they are. I guess we could make a cracked stone out of this one. All right, so that's that alleyway done. This little alley could use a little bit, maybe. Nope. No, we'll flip those around. Here's a good example of there being andesite right there, so I want to go with something different. You can also use texture to kind of lead an eye. Like this doesn't look like much, but if there's texture kind of pointing in that direction, you kind of want to look to see what's going down there. That's kind of a fun technique too. Yeah, I like that. Here and there sort of indicates that there's like this thing to go in between. I like that. That's that little alley done. I think all the alleys over here were finished. This one's done. That one's done. Then we get up into the parade square. That's finished. I was just telling my daughter Joel's build makes me make mine look like junk. It's just practice, right? Like you gotta remember, like I've begged, borrowed, and stolen. Wow. Good thing I don't talk for a living. Stolen many texture ideas from people like Whip and Pixelriffs and Mythical Sausage. So I'll just see stuff, you know, and incorporate it. And like I wasn't using nearly as much cracked bricks until I saw and played Minecraft Dungeons. And they just use cracked bricks everywhere. It's like the default texture. All right, so that's done. I'm focusing mostly on alleys right now, just because they seem to be coming together nicely. Yeah, I don't know about this long stretch here. I feel like because we're using stone around the outside of the square, I should maybe get rid of all this here. Nice hard edge to it. think that could probably be a mossy wall there. And maybe we'll do a little bit of mossy underneath it too. See, here we're in Sunflower Plains biome. We haven't transitioned into the taiga yet. We're just on the edge. The taiga biome is like right here. And moss still looks really good with grass. That's too much. Right, so here is a good example of like this used to be the edge of the road. These don't need to be here either. So thinking about coming down the road, if you see texture kind of looping that way, kind of pulls your attention. And this can help make the alley feel like a little bit thinner, just by having a couple little bits along the side here. One hour has passed. Thanks so much, Dan. Time for break. Go. Too straight a line. Cool. We've got this alley to do. And then maybe we'll take that break. And this, again, I think was the edge of the road. So we'll just change this back to regular stairs. And we'll also remove this part. This is tricky because this is a very large section of slabs. Oh, that's cool, Cosmic. That's a fun highlight of the day, listening to Little Cosmic Boy and doing some reading. What's their book of choice these days? Yeah, you know, I think these all just have to stay the way that they are. Sometimes it can help too with andesite to use it in a dark alley, because then it does not seem quite as bright when you're placing it, which is nice. Need a few more cracked bricks, it looks like. Captain Underpants. Don't ask. I don't, I just listen. No, that's fine. I worked on, I think it was a Flash game. One of my early jobs in animation was working on some Captain Underpants stuff. I think it was an online game. I think it was like a browser game that we animated stuff for. I remember because the studio got sent a whole bunch of like free Captain Underpants stuff. I'm going to test this out as andesite and see if it's too bright. No, I think that's fine. Oh, see, I feel like cutting the corner off here helps you kind of like round the corner a little bit better. Just really, really subtle things. I don't know about that though. Okay. That's where I'm going to wrap up the first hour, because I think that's all of the alleyways done. I think, like, I know we did that yesterday. That's been finished a long time. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is mostly done. I might want to walk along and just kind of make sure I haven't missed anything when I come back, but this all looks to be pretty finished. It's the main road here. This is the big juggernaut along with that. Yeah, now it's just the two main roads. So maybe we'll switch gears and not do alleys after the first brick, just because I think that might be a good way to switch things up. So we're almost there. If you're new to the channel, I take a break once an hour. Just gives me a chance to reheat my coffee. Gives you a chance to grab a friend, maybe grab a snack. We are trying to grow the channel, so if you've been watching, maybe refresh the browser. Make sure you're on twitch.tv/JoelDuggan and tell a friend. We'll be right back. So we still have some nighttime left here, and I want to see if those zeros, yeah, they are indeed not a problem at night because of the light that comes on. That makes sense, I think. So I think that was everything here, right? I didn't need any other changes. Oh, that's a slab. All right then. Inventory is full. That's annoying. The rain right after we slept. That really is annoying. So I think I need to go look at the book. Also, apparently we have to deal with this guy. He actually tracked us right into that hallway. That's interesting. So the Tiger roads, the main roads, we've done the alleys, but that doesn't really give us something to check off. Parade Square, we've got add detail to the inside of the barracks, finish the keep moat, define areas above the moat, and lighting and drawbridge in the entrance. And then everything else starts to get into like the keep or surrounding countryside. Texture dress the east road. Oh, right. That's right up there. Or the curtain wall. Alright, well, let's take a look at what needs to happen up at the keep. We had a big storm the last 2 days here in Dartmouth. Lots of snow and then lots of rain, so all the snow is gone. It's actually quite nice out right now. Right, so we've got to fill the keep up and do some decorating down there. I think I'd like to do a little bit of work on the town square first. Also, I don't think there's even any like proper infrastructure in here. Like, I don't think, yeah, there's nothing in there. I think I can get up there over this way. Right, but it goes to nothing. So there's no actual way to get up to the top there. Yeah, I think we need to do some stuff up that way. That'll be, I guess, the start of the keep renovation, because that's going to be a big project. That's probably something I'm saving until last, is redoing a lot of the top part of the keep. But something I really don't like are these two big empty spaces to the left and to the right of the drawbridge, I really don't know what to put here. You know, I kind of temporarily added a little bit of texture. I filled it in with coarse dirt. But, like, I really just don't know what to do. I think in part it could be cool to have a small stone wall. But whenever you put any kind of stone wall in Minecraft, it just, like, you can't see anything, right? You can't see over it. Right? So, like, we could try, you know, like a stone stairwell, which gives you a little bit more visibility, but not by much. Now, granted, there's going to be water up 2 blocks. So really there'd be water at that level there. But I feel like I might want to drop this down. Right? It looks more treacherous, but it gives you way more of a view without having to be right on top of it. And we could make it wood stairs. They don't have to be stone. Although that doesn't look terrible. Maybe we could have it so that these wood beams come up to the corner and then the stairs go in between them. Maybe. You get an advert on YouTube that was like a come and visit Nova Scotia kind of advert. Yeah. I've been seeing those a lot on TikTok and on social media. And I live here. So that's one thing we need to do, is try to figure out what's happening in this area. Reposting a question from hashtag, how are you enjoying streaming every day in March so far? I like doing little streams. Like, I'd rather do a 3-hour stream or 2.5 hours every day rather than like a big 4-hour stream on a weekend. Right now it's easy because the weather's been pretty crappy in Minecraft and in real life. And the other thing is that it is a struggle with my schedule. I find I don't want to eat lunch at noon to stream at 1 o'clock. So, but I really like streaming at 1 o'clock on the weekends and Fridays because it means I'm done by 4, right? So, and it makes more sense for me, I think, to be streaming from 1 to 4 consistently throughout the week. So it doesn't matter what day you're trying to tune into me for, I'm probably going to be streaming on at 1 o'clock. Rather than having it be like special times, you know, like 2 o'clock on Wednesday and 3 o'clock on Thursday and like all that kind of stuff. Or even if it was just weekdays was 2 o'clock and weekends was 1 o'clock, I feel like that's enough of a shift that I don't have enough of an audience that I think it would be easy for new people to remember. So I want to try and keep it consistent. All right, let's pack this up. Jody, hello, hello. But yeah, other than that weird kind of like me having to cram lunch in at like 12:45 because I'm just not hungry at noon. The thing what I should do is I should push my breakfast back to like 11. Work in the morning and then have breakfast and then eat lunch after the stream. We'll bring that too. I don't think we're going to need bushes, I don't think. Well, maybe. We do have dark stuff we can play with that could be kind of fun. I think that's probably it. So yeah, I think we'll try and adjust the keep border, and maybe we'll pull a little bit more of the same patterns that we have in this square and push it into this one. See, that's a thunderstorm. I'm sleeping early. But there was no indication that it was a thunderstorm. So I did a mosaic with basalt and furnaces. I should bring the basalt shulker box. I'll have to put some stuff away here. Yeah, normally there's two indications for a thunderstorm. One, it gets very dark, and two, you actually hear the thunder. There's something messed up there. I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, like when it can be a thunderstorm and have neither of those things happen, it's very frustrating because I'd like to sleep through the rain, you know? I'd like to get that over with. Where can we set up? There's more room over here. Those are slabs, though. All right, we'll set up here. All right, we got dirt, landscaping, oak, dark oak, spruce. All right. Profession blocks. I want furnaces and got andesite. I need stone and I need andesite. Roof pig is right there. Yup. So one of the things that I know helped us before was having a border. And when I was looking at this the other day on stream, if we look at our other mosaic here, hard to see from over here. You'll see that it has this stone border around it to kind of separate it and make it feel like its own thing. And that helps with transitioning. And then up here, we don't really have that. And the issue, of course, is that it's sort of, we could put it here and lose the edge, but I like having this little star pattern because it kind of looks like a smaller version of this. And I think I want to bump these in. So one of the things we could do, I think, is put a border all the way around this, although that might be a problem there, and then bump that in. I guess we could make it stairs. Not really sure. But a border would line up with the edges of these houses, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Because I don't like this either. It's got a weird edge to it. So my idea was to bring this in by a couple blocks. And then we bump this in or keep it the same. Because now they all have like a straight edge right through the middle. The other thing I need to do is actually put some stairs up here. Where's some stone stairs? Or I guess some wood stairs. Do you have anything for the path of grass to the right hand side? No, I've got nothing. I've got no ideas for the left or right at all. Not at all. That doesn't quite work. Okay. Yeah, if I get rid of that, it could look okay. I do want to see what this would look like if I moved it in by a couple blocks. So I guess this would be larger. Oh, I need more stone bricks. Not sure about the way this connects here either, but we'll leave it for now because again, this is supposed to be that smooth stone gutter idea, but it does connect to this in a weird way, so we might have to rethink that. I might like this design better. I would say it probably would end there. Probably an ideal space for a cart or a little market stall. Thought it would make sense over here. Yeah, maybe. I guess the thing is, like, this is supposed to be kind of like militaristic, you know? So there's that. I think I like that better. I think I like the larger thing, although it makes me want to move those things in more, maybe. It takes away some of the big boring areas. I think I tried those over there more, and I don't think I like them. So now I kind of want to line up this point with this middle block there. Also, some lighting issues up here. Wow. But yeah, I really haven't figured it out. I think I want to do the moat first, like finish this, and then I'll figure out what's going to go here. Like, the idea is that you don't want to build a tower or a house right next to it because it removes the defensive capabilities of having something there. If evil people broke into the town somehow and were able to climb on the roof of something here and start shooting stuff over the wall, then that defeats the purpose, right? These have a very specific middle. I don't know if I like the really white stone in the middle of these. I do like that I moved it, so I'm going to try that on the other side too. Oh, we are out of the furnace. Oh, we've got more. Never mind. Oh, look, convenient furnaces, exactly. Oh, I missed one. I didn't have it anyway. I mean, it's not bad. It is like a smaller version. As long as it's not too distracting from down here. Yeah, it's not terrible. And we could always make it be something else, like a slightly different color or something, but yeah, I think the only thing I don't want to do is have them bleed over. Kay the River Cat, good to see you. Hope you're having a good week. Did anybody catch any satisfactory news? I kept on meaning to check this week, but they always seem to be such a crapshoot when it comes to actually releasing timely, engaging news content. It's usually 80% BS that I have to watch just in order to get the actual news for the game updates. I've been thinking about getting back into Satisfactory after I finish Westhill to kind of just branch out, you know, shake the Minecraft a little bit. But I might not bother if like update 8 is like on our doorstep. So it's not bad. It does feel a little off now. I just don't think I'd want these to become furnaces. The pitfalls of using containers. In the floor. So we could do something like that. I just don't know if I like it kind of overlapping this, but we could make this more important looking too. It's not terrible. It sort of acts like a funnel, I guess. Certainly more symmetrical, although we've messed up over here. And that's the other thing, is that we've got this this part here. So maybe this has to be bricks, you know? I'd like to come up with something else. Although this would tie in nicely if we have to do something cool with the edge here. If we had stone bricks, it would make more sense. Smart inventory solutions would be to have a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. Yeah, I could see that. The only problem with that is that you'd have to remember where things are. Oh, I don't like that. So we're not going to do bricks around the edge, that's for sure. That is monotonous and boring. I think I like the shift of this over here to the middle. I'm still on the fence about that being a block that's smooth. I kind of like the center being the only thing. I don't think we did anything like that over there. Yeah, there's no like super light block in the middle. It's just a repetitive pattern. And we could incorporate basalt as well. We also have cobble. Maybe basalt would make a good border. Might be a little bit busy. Oh, but then the basalt goes up against the edge. Yeah, so it can't be the edge like that. Deep slate's going to be too dark, I'd imagine. Oh, that's directional. Crap. Worth a try. Yeah, I don't think I like that. Close. The news is that news is coming. I thought that was last week, Sandy, on Satisfactory. Oh yeah, that doesn't look good at all. All right. So if we don't want to use andesite and we don't want to use stone, we can't use basalt. We might be able to do a flip on this and do that in the middle, and then trying to tie this to the Westhill square that we just finished yesterday in a meaningful way. I don't think there's any other blocks I could use around the edge. We've used up all the different grays. The gray concrete powder could work. I just don't know where. Because I think this is going to look just as silly. Like if we do, if I just take some of this and put this in. And then the other thing I wanted to try was stairs. I feel like that would be weird to walk over. Unless we only did it on spots where you're going to walk and then make it a border everywhere else, that could work too. Yeah, see, that just feels like a strange ditch. That's no different. I think I like that combo of switching these out. So replacing these with the basalt and then these with that. So I'm really just stuck on what to do for the border. You've just opened up a Minecraft Creative World to look at gray blocks. Are there because you forgot them? Oh yeah, no, I've done that before. I've totally done that. You were talking about concrete. The only thing about concrete is I think it's a very light border. And it might be better off being something we do in the middle. It's also got a little bit of a warm, kind of a yellowy tinge to it. I feel like we could add some of these basalt pillars in here somewhere. Maybe here. I think I'm kind of at my limit of gray blocks. Like, I don't think there's anything else we can really use. Yeah, I don't like that there. I don't think I like those either. I think they are better as like little bits in the middle. Maybe it's maybe these light blocks are a little bit distracting. What if we replace these back to furnaces? And then change these to basalt. And then change these to chiseled. And I guess this could just be straight up andesite. I think that might be a nicer way to tie it into the other square. Although the andesite does not look good there. We'll have to come up with something else. Maybe another basalt piece needs to go in the middle. Because I think 5 of these would be kind of silly. But it's that or a basalt piece. Dead coral blocks. They are quite textured. The only thing is that they're not gray. They've got a very warm texture to them. I don't really have them out that often. See, they've got like a pink hue to them. And the only ones we would really be able to use would be that one and one of those two. And I would say even that's probably the best, whatever that is. Fire coral and rain coral. Bubble. Fire and bubble are the two that work the best as gray textures. Right. Horn. Rain coral. Hey, there's Dan. Welcome back. So we might have to figure out a way to do the wall, and maybe the wall will help me figure out a way to do the border. It's probably the best we've got right now. What did you end up grabbing for dinner, Dan? I've got leftover burgers tonight. Yeah, I think I like that better. Now we're going to move this one over. Nope, that's not right. How did I do this? Right. Is these two. Steak, mushrooms, and mash. Nice. That sounds like a good dinner. I haven't had steak in a long... Well, that's a lie. I had steak on Dad's birthday. But I didn't cook it. Dad cooked it. I haven't cooked steak in a very long time. The weather has just not been great for putting the barbecue out on the balcony in my place. It's been really high precipitation. So like snow and rain and both and ice and... You know, it's just... We've got so much salt content in the air that it's really a pain. Just realized we have to move those too. But I think this is about as good as we're going to get. One, two, three, and then the fourth is that. 1, 2, 3. So this would be switched. And that would be the edge. And then I think for clarity what we would do is we would switch this back. Where would the edge of this be? Right. So 2 blocks past that. So that's right. No. Go all the way to there, and then there'd be basalt, chiseled, smooth. Basalt, chiseled, Smooth would be there. So that means this would be that. And then this would be bricks. Oh, my elytra's almost dead. And then how thick is the wall? The wall is 3 in most places. 1, 2, 3. So then all of this. And we would probably move it along like that. Kind of indicate that separation and connection. We've got a little mosaic in here too, which I might switch. Time for a road repair trip? Oh, repair road trip. There was something else I was supposed to look for when I went on a repair trip too. I was missing something. I was low on something. I don't remember what it was. I think that gets everything up to snuff. Break time, says Dan. Thanks for the reminder. All right, I like that. That is now in line with that. We've got 1, 2, 3, and the 4th is a basalt. So 1/4 is a basalt. Ah, that should continue out that way. And that should continue into the corner. Correct, right? Yes. Okay, so just a few little things I missed. So this would be a furnace. I feel like that kind of tucks that in nicer to that building too. Oh, wait a minute now. Maybe I've got the wrong spot. Right, that's the border. I feel like I've asked this before on streams, but like while I'm on break, I'm curious if there are other games that people would like to see me play. You know, once we get Westhill to a point where I want to take a bit of a break from Minecraft, like what other games are on your list? Don't punch them in now. Maybe something to discuss during the break so that I can look at the list when I come back. I'm just curious to see. But I like those edits. I think that's good. I'm still on the fence about this border, but I don't really have a better option right now. I think what will happen is whatever we do at the top of the wall of the moat will help me kind of decide what to do with the border. And we may only end up having a border like on the east and west sides and not worry about the north side. I'm not in love with the bricks in there. I think this whole thing could just be smooth stone. But this could be very different. And then depending on what we do, it could have like a nice smooth stop there. And then we could have a more of a geometric border than a texture border here. Still not sure whether we're going to keep those the way that they are. We might make them taller. I'm not really sure. But anyway, time for that break. I don't know where the closest house is. I guess we can just go down to the keep. Makes sense. I got to replace these too. But as per usual, I take a break once an hour. You should too. Get up, stretch, grab a glass of water, maybe a snack. Make sure you grab a friend or retweet on Twitter at Joel Duggan that I'm live. Bring in some new folks, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Gotta remember that we don't have to go outside to get back up to where we were working. Oh, hello. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Cosmic. Yeah, I think we'll just remove these things that I put in. You can see the dirty underbelly of the curtain wall and what we had to light up. I'm not so sure about all that dirt, you know. This could probably be redone a bit to be nicer. We've got stone there. This might be just be left unfinished, you know. We could probably... it's got a little bit of texture, so I obviously did a little thought, but I don't know, I feel like this is probably going to be changed to be stone. Feels like a large waste of space. Maybe there should be... Maybe I could move these stairs over to here and then have something else here. This is just an inside staircase, so yeah, maybe some stuff piled up here that you'd, rather than a straight line, maybe we have to walk like around something to go over there. That makes more sense. So I think I'm gonna dial back the gutter on this side too. Same sort of way. And then we'll look over here and see what I've done. Pull that back there. And I think we'll just completely make that straight as well. Now, honestly, I think we can just remove all of that. And we'll worry about that later. Okay, so the next thing I guess is to at least mirror what we've got going on with the moat here. This will be fun. Giant air quotes. Working in water. Joy. Right, I don't need furnaces. I'll grab mud blocks. Soul soil, not sand, because I don't want bubbles. Mud. Coarse dirt. I don't think we'll need root blocks. We'll probably keep andesite and stone. Cracked. We're definitely gonna need some more mossy bits and mossy cobble. We should probably go get some moss to make that. I need at least a stack. At least a stack. Grab like 2 stacks of moss or something. Remove the elytra. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Hmm. Where was the moss? Hi. Over here, yes. Oh, we got lots. Okay. So we'll do probably stack and a half of each. Which of these boxes are the coral mini blocks in? Ah, over here. Top right. I need these. And then I'll do another half stack. And so I guess you're welcome. And I needed another half stack of bricks. Nice. And then same thing, cobble. And then maybe not quite so much. That should do us. Cheeky flower gremlin. That's awesome. Yep. Cosmic rainbow flower mod of doom or cheeky flower gremlin. Both are accurate. I would say both are accurate descriptions. I have a bucket. That's good. And I'll have to figure out what's happening there. Obviously, we've got a little bit of texture going on. But what really needs to happen first is throwing down a little bit of stone, I think. Yeah, so I think we can do maybe a little bit of stuff here. Whoa, there's a cave here. All right. So many blocks. Guess I don't need the shears. I think most of the coarse dirt's already down there. Oh, did I bring tough? No. Tough and cobblestone slabs. So I think over here I had started to put more... Oh no, I didn't put any tough in that. So I think we'll probably switch that up a bit. I like putting tough kind of like down the darker parts of things. Try to get a little bit of a gradient going maybe. Oh, thanks for the sleep. I have smooth stone there. Flower gremlin. Nice. Oh, I see. Do I have a flint and steel in me? I don't. Those are probably mine, so I probably shouldn't burn them. I think I left that there on a purpose, but I'm going to fill it in. Good day, sir. All right. So this doesn't have any texture at all, so we got to work on that a bit. Taking this texture up a little bit higher, I think. I can't reach. So this is actually the top of our sorting system in the keep back here. So I want to keep this water because the idea is that this imaginary spring is the source of the water for the moat. So I want it to at least look decent. And the water level's 2 blocks deep, I think. Yeah. That's a little bit symmetrical. I guess we should probably put the gate in before I get too carried away with textures. That's probably going to be involving a slot back here. And I would say probably andesite. Who's bringing flowers? Not Cosmic. Were those mine? No, I don't have my flowers out here. That's probably why they took them back. Of course, let's just put all the dirt away. I probably don't need the dirt right now. And I'm going to grab my nether box. That's going to have fences in it. I think what we'll do is this will probably go right down to the ground. So we'll have to do something on either side of this. Plus these will have to be stairs. Didn't bring any regular stairs. This is the part of these kind of projects I do find tedious, the constant need for like one more something from your inventory that you didn't bring with you. Right, because that way when we put this down, it won't connect. And then I guess if we want that to not connect, it has to be stairs. So the easiest way to do this, or the coolest way to do this, might be to put the stairs sideways. And I wonder if we go back and forth with them, it'll look good. Because then you can really not see it very well, and it has a nice straight edge to it. That's pretty cool. And I think that's, I mean, this is all going to be underwater anyway, so it shouldn't be too visible. Now there's nothing we can do about the top parts, but you're really not going to be able to see those. I kind of feel like some of this should be mossy stairs. And we probably want this to have more of a curve to it, so we'll make stairs there as well. Which means this is probably going to change. And we'll probably just go straight back for a couple blocks. Just to make sure it's not visible from anywhere else. Oh, no, I want slabs. That seems about right. This might actually have to go up a bit. Like the darker colored wood around the edge of the bottom of the moat. Oh, thanks. Yeah, because when it gets wet, when you put the water in, it looks wet. That's looking pretty good. I feel like it should probably go all the way up to the edge, but I think maybe what we can do here is just bring this out. And of course, once there's no lights in there, it's not going to be quite as obvious where all the little tricks are that we're hiding. Yeah, so we're going to have to do something about that. That's very, very light colored. So we will need to remove the lights in here. And that or seal it off. I mean, really, it's what it looks like from up here that matters. You can still see it. So, yeah, that's tricky. Maybe without this it won't be a big deal. You can still see the edge, but it won't be as big of a deal, I don't think, when it's all underwater. I think I might actually want it to go around the corner just so that you can't see quite what's happening. And maybe we can do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so there really is no... Is there any access up here? There must be. Oh yeah, okay. So I can still get up here if I need to. That's fine. Who knew there was so much work to be done here? In the dark, no less, too. More andesite required. The to-do list of doom probably had an idea. Well, that's fair. I think we're getting there. I don't know if I've made that. I can't really put it any closer, can I? Unless I put something over the front of it. But we may end up moving that gate. It's always tricky when you do these cutaway things where you've got to move things around and make sure that from all viewing angles that it looks okay. Oh no. That's not good. Make sure that that didn't change anything after we're done. So really it's just a matter of continuing, I think, these things around the corner. Missed a spot. This looks kind of dumb. Am I out of andesite again? I am. Wow. This is what I mean by I get really fed up by working in water. Like, it's really tedious. All of this just to kind of have a very brief experience when you're outside. All right. So that is the water level. No, it's going to be higher. It's going to be higher. Think that filled it in? Almost. We're good. Hopefully this looks okay from up top. It is really frustrating. Yeah, it's not a pleasant game experience. All right, I don't need this clogging up my inventory. Not quite done with the fences yet. Don't need 2 stacks of those. Don't need 2 stacks of those either. Hand on Cosmic Heart, sometimes I'd rather work in the nether than work in water. Yeah, I believe it. Also, we've got some serious spawning issues out here. So that is not going to look as cool as I was hoping. Maybe we'll put some lights or something in it. I was going to do all the different rocks and things down here first, but I think it might be better just to put in a couple of very basic things. I think I'd rather have the water in here to be able to work with it. I know it seems counterintuitive. Really, I think what I want to do is make sure I'm not wasting my time doing texture work on something that you just can't see. That should just about be right. Why is that not working? That doesn't make sense. That should fill up all the way around. I remember doing this for a squid farm back when you could make them anywhere, and my gosh, I was so frustrated with doing it. There we go. That's that all done. So we can try and see what this looks like. I also need to get rid of this wall. Serious spawning issues are a very slow and dangerous way to fix your elytra. Yeah, that's true. Let's just put those back and coarse dirt. All right. That fills in the moat. And you really can't see much. And unfortunately, you can't really see the gate at all. So what I might do is get some extra stairs. Wow, there's some lag going on there. We'll break this down. Oh, we're gonna have to waterlog those stairs, I think. Hello? I broke the block. Thank you very much. What is going on? So it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, every once in a while we get a problem like that on the server. Not fun. All right, I like that better. The only thing I might do just for visual effect is grab a couple of sea pickles and just light up like the backside of it just a little bit. Of course, there's no light there. Now, hopefully we can't see the sea pickles, and hopefully that doesn't light up things crazy. Maybe one sea pickle is all we need. It's just enough that you can see the actual gate now, right? The only problem with that is that I wanted to see more of it, and I think if we changed it to have if it was farther forward, it might look okay. Like if this was out here, right? And we had maybe this kind of a thing. See what I mean by how much farther forward that is? Although at that scale it does look really kind of big and inviting, like here's a hole in the door, in the wall. Please come in. I guess we could make it 2 wide instead of 3 wide. Or what is it, 4 wide? It's 4 wide. If it was only 3 wide, it wouldn't be quite so big, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. I think it maybe did look better the other way around. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like at night, but it's getting dark now, so we'll see. You gotta remember there's also going to be some... oh my gosh, this is becoming unplayable. No, thank you. Bone meal. Yeah, that is an annoying delay. It's a little bit light at night. It's not terrible though. I might want to go and just see what it looks like with 1 sea pickle instead of 2. Yeah, I think maybe 1 on each side is good. As long as we can still see it during the day. Yeah, it's not quite as nice during the day, but I think you can still see that it's there. The issue, of course, is that I think it looked better when it was closer, but then there's nothing you can do unless you put like an actual extension on the wall, but then you're dealing with the same problem, right? It's a full block behind the wall, whereas if I covered it up with trapdoors, then you can put the fence gates a lot closer, or the fences a lot closer. All right, we'll leave it for now. Leave it for now. Yeah, we didn't do anything too fancy, I don't think. Yeah, I probably will reduce the amount of tall bushes. But the one other idea I wanted to tackle today, just because I'm sick of playing in the water, is the edge here. So we can put those away. Lag seems to be gone. That's good. Keep the coarse dirt and that, and then we'll grab some of the stripped spruce and some stairs, I guess these kinds. So one idea that I had was along here we could change this to be vertical, and then just remove all of this here. And everywhere where it should be the edge of it, we'll just change it to be a vertical log. So there. And then maybe not there. I'd have to look to see how that pattern goes. Yeah, there's the next one here. Clop, flop, pop. That's an interesting username. Welcome in. Thanks for saying hi. And right here. So we'll take a look from the drawbridge here and see. That should look relatively sane. Like, that makes sense. I feel like that feels a little bit long, but I don't know what else we would do there. And then in between them, we could potentially have stairs. But I don't know if that works with these edges here. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense there, does it? Yeah, that doesn't really work. Another break in these Minecrafting times. Nice. That's funny. I think it's probably time for me to wrap things up here just briefly. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do with this potential wall. Don't think I like the stairs. mean, the good news here is that we could take this up a notch too. I don't know about that either. Gotta bounce. Thanks, Fox. Appreciate you being here. I mean, that certainly gives it more of a border. And then we wouldn't have to worry about that. But then I also don't think I want to have like an actual fence either. Because then you can't see, right? Kind of defeats the purpose of like protecting people from falling in the moat that you want them to fall into if they're attacking the castle. You know, like it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess we could try a slab. What was going to look good over there? We've got cobble and gravel. So maybe bricks and slabs. So it's sort of an edge, but not really. That's not awful. I don't mind that. It makes sense from this side. I think I like it better with the trapdoor on top. An OSHA safe defense mechanism? Yeah. I mean, I imagine that they would just not have them, right? Like there just wouldn't be anything here. This is more of a visual thing, I think, for me. And plus, like, I want to be able to see the moat. And when you can't get up to the moat, when you can't get to here, you can't see it. So maybe we don't need like an actual border all the way along, but instead just like an idea of like posts every so often indicating that there would be, or there could be something here. Right, so I'll do 3 of these. And then maybe we'll try 3 that are shorter. And then change these back. I didn't mind the stairs, but they don't work very well if you can't connect the edges properly. Feels strange going around the corner here, so maybe here and there we've got to keep it a little bit more angle. Can't see anything at night anyway. This is going to be really difficult to light. I'm not sure where we're going to put a light. Probably on the walls of the barracks. Got them up there, but I think we're going to have to put them much lower. I don't hate the short ones. They're boring. We could maybe come up with a different thing. Maybe we can top them with polished andesite or something. That feels a little bit more like it. I think I might like the stone topper. Mm-hmm. What if we did that all the way along? I think that gives enough of a visual edge that we're good. What I should do for now is just put like a ladder in here or something temporarily. Yeah, that seems like more likely. This feels very funny through here. This feels like a large gap. I remember struggling with this when I designed it too. Really nothing you can do. If we do that, then potentially we could do the stairs. Just leave it as mob sitting in the roof. Pig protects you. Nice. Yeah, I feel like we do this line. Whoops. Yeah, so it's like a stair between each pillar and then a full block behind it, with the exception of these ones. And the stair really is just for Minecraft viewing purposes. So that when you come up to the moat, you don't have to go to the very, very, very edge to see down into it. And I think this might have to be some sort of stone courtyard or something. Word Nerdify subscribing at tier 1, 8 months. Thanks ever so much, Word Nerdify. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Very much appreciated. Yeah, whatever we do here just needs to be... I don't have those blocks. You go the whole day thinking you've got these blocks in your inventory, then you put a few things away, and all of a sudden you're just absent-mindedly clicking stuff. Alright, let's go up top and just take a look. It's a cool little animated emote. I like that, Word Nerdify. And thank you ever so much. Coming up on the Firestone Keystone Badge next month. That's amazing. I think it looks more intentional now, which is good. More so than this. This just looks kind of like, well, it looks exactly what it should look like, which is, I don't know what to do. I'm going to make it okay and then leave it for later, which is what I did. Yeah, I think that looks okay. It makes sense from this side. And then I feel like we've still given ourselves a border with this different texture repeating itself. Again, the only thing strange here is that I would really like to put this pillar here. So I might look at changing that. But if I put that there and remove this, well, no, you know what? That looks good. So maybe we'll just change that right now. Oh, I don't have any. Okay, move this. Oh, wrong one. What am I doing? Like that. I'll have to finish the rest up top. Helps bring out the curve in the road and the wall more, if that makes sense. Thanks. Yeah, I think it... Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely helping. That goes there. That would mean that this is going to be... This was going to be... like that, I guess. So that feels more evenly spaced. There's not, you can't make it perfect because of the way that Minecraft works, but yeah. I mean, I still don't like this dirt path. And you can sort of see like this right here, this dirt, this is an arc that I drew around the whole thing, and I didn't want to build anything of height closer than this dirt line that to the wall. So like if I could build something here, you know, like this little build here, it's actually outside of that line. So this arc like kind of continues out through here, and then it starts to curve back around, and it's around here or so that the line came down, and we built this outside of the line. And I kind of wish I had a little bit more room on this side. I don't want to hide too much of this build either because it's very cool looking, but I feel like we could put something else here, like just right in this area here. As long as it didn't go too far to the right. Yeah, I think I like that as a solution. I'm not 100% sure of the bricks, but the only issue now, of course, is just how do we reconcile the edge of the parade square? Right, like how do we make that look like it has an end? Because this is a strange combo right there, right? I mean, we could pile some stuff up, I guess, but yeah, this is a strange transition. Well, it's not a transition at all. It's a strange issue to have. We could put like a little wall along the road that might help. But then like, I don't know what, like there's no need for there to be a path up here because there's nothing here. So I don't know what you would want to have here. But yeah, I might have to do a little bit of Pinterest research or something just to kind of see what might be a good thing to have in this area. But anyway, I think that's a decent spot to wrap up the day. I believe that one Tango Tech is live, and so we're going to pass y'all along to Tango so that we'll continue your Minecraft day. Make sure you leave a follow here before you take off and enjoy the Tango experience. You can, of course, check out the Citadel Cafe and the Spawn Chunks podcasts. They are both available on iTunes and really wherever you get a podcast. And thank you very much for everyone that supported with a tier 1 or a prime sub today. Some bits that were thrown in here and there, and I really, really appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. You are the reason I get to do the things that I get to do. Thanks to Dan and Cosmic for the awesome moderation help today. Thanks for all the regulars for coming by. It's always a fun way to spend my afternoon hanging out with y'all. Hope you've enjoyed what we've done so far. It was a pretty straightforward day. I think we made the most progress on this parade square mosaic, and I think this is just about ready. It's just this edge transition that we have to work on, but that will be happening tomorrow. I'll be back at 1 o'clock Atlantic. That's UTC minus 3 hours for the next few weeks, and I will see y'all on the flip side. Bye for now.